What's up, everyone? Steve Clayton here, aka RipIt Steve. In between rip and packs, which is the thing I love the absolute most, I thought I'd record some episodes around this idea of boom or bust. I'm massively into collecting, not only because it's a ton of fun and it's nostalgic and all that sort of thing, but it really is an investment strategy. For the last 3 years, it's been outperforming the S&P 500, and that's no small feat, and it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's kind of been out of control since I dived in at 2020, but particularly over the last 2 years, it's just insane. So I wanted to jump into my collector app. Now, if you're new to collecting or you want to get into the hobby, this is a great app to be able to track sort of market prices, what's going on. You'll be able to look at your collection, see what's moving on a day-to-day basis. It's pretty interesting, and you can see kind of your portfolio here and how it's grown over the last month, over the last 3 months or 6 months, which is pretty fun. You'll be able to check that all out. But what I do nearly every day is come into the most valuable part, or most valuable collection button here. But at the top, the collectors just released this button called Movers. So if you hit that, it essentially filters your collection based on the highest price changes over the last 24 hours. And I want to go through and maybe point out a few cards that I think are undervalued or still have huge room to grow. It's something that I love doing, is kind of picking some winners and seeing what can happen. So obviously we've had some big movement here. Like, anything base is going to go really well. Like, it's up and down, but you can pick up a base Charizard 1999 for, between $600 and $700. I still think that's good value in a raw card. Obviously, if you get it graded, I've got a PSA 9 here. The PSA 10, there's only 489 of those, so really hard to grade. There's 8,350 PSA 9s. So the 9's worth $4,000. PSA 10's 20 grand. So I'm often looking at the difference between the PSA 10 price, and if it's either really hard to grade, an example is the Magikarp, which I'll bring up here in a moment. It's so hard to grade, so it gets such a big premium in a PSA 10. Normally what happens then is that prices out the market for a lot of people unless they're like mad keen on collecting, which means the PSA 9 is usually really good value because you've got that price contrast, right? Like, if the 10 is unaffordable and it's got a huge premium, but you can pick up a 9 for way less, I think they're good buying. Like, PSA 9, sure, it's not perfect, but some smart PSA 9 buys, because that PSA 10 price keeps driving up, the 9 kind of follows suit. So I think that's it. I picked up this Bubble Mew at a card show like a month or so ago. I'm pretty sure I picked it up for $360 or with trade. That's now up to $524. Obviously, the English version of this is like well over 1,000. And it's not slowing down. This is the number one card I slept on when it was priced way back in the day, like $120. Should have bought as many damn ones as I could, because I could see it was undervalued. But I really think the Japanese still has huge room to grow. And the cool part about the Japanese version as well is it really has a different sort of hollow shimmer to it than the English. I actually think it looks better than the English. So I think that's still a undervalued card based on contrast to the Japanese. Anytime that you can pick up ponchos, anything exclusive, the easiest way to do this is to go to Japan. We were in Japan a couple of years ago, not even a year ago, and go into card shops over there. Man, you can pick up some really, really awesome stuff for way less than English pricing. So I picked this card up for, I think, $350 over there, and it's currently at $584. But the thing is, it's definitely a PSA 10 contender, and PSA 10 is currently $1,900. So that's the other thing you can do strategically with good Pokemon card collecting, is get really into understanding what a PSA 10 contender is. And that's always going to be based on the centering, the corners, If there's any whitening, like a PSA 10 pretty much has to be a perfect card front and back. Centering is a big part, and then also surface. So if there's any scratches or dings and things like that. So there's sometimes you can grab huge premiums by jumping into finding really quality raw cards. Now, Japanese cards are consistently better in quality than English cards as well. So some people run entire businesses of just doing trips to Japan, buying up Japanese cards that are PSA 10 contenders, because like between 80 and 90% in terms of pack fresh cards are PSA 10 contenders, and then just flip from there. So it's pretty huge. Pikachu grey felt hat. This thing just keeps going off. It's currently at $862. I picked this up as a promo for 150. I should have bought 20. But this is a wild card, and I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon, even though when you have a look at how many cards have been graded, there's currently 43,000 PSA 10s going for $2,800 and 41,000 PSA 9s. This is like, that's a lot of cards that are graded, not even mentioning those that are raw. Now people are like, that's insane. Like, the population is way too high. Surely this card's going to crack. But when you think about the sheer number of Pokemon card collectors, with this being like a really iconic Van Gogh Grail, you could only get this over in Europe attending museums. There is rumors that they're going to do a Japanese version. I don't know if that will happen. If they do, that'll be interesting to see what happens to pricing. But I think just the sheer numbers of millions and millions and millions of Pokemon card collectors, this card is so desirable. So I think even at $800 raw, it's wild to say, I think long term that's still good value. Particularly if you can buy one that is a PSA 10 contender, and you know, you go and submit it. You go and, let's say you picked one up for $800, and then you go submit it graded, and it comes back $2,800. Like, it's $2,000 premium that you're getting straight off raw price. So I think that's value. Other ones that I think will continue to go. I've been following this Chansey card for a while. Like, obviously it's had a big spike recently. Twilight Masquerade is huge. It's a set with some massive cards like the Greninja and all of that type of stuff. So this is an underrated illustration rare in my opinion. A couple things that I'm looking for to determine whether I think an illustrator rare is going to pop or not is not only the card itself, right, Chansey, but what's in the background, you know. And you've got a Snorlax up there in the corner, you got a little Psyduck here, you got a little Bellsprout, you know, like, so we've got some OG 151 Pokemons that are kind of hidden in the background. Those type of cards with other little Pokemon that are really popular in the background are undervalued. They often continue to rise, usually multiple years after they're released. So I think that is one worth paying attention to and having a look at. 151, sure. This Mew promo popped, and I can see that continuing to go to a $200, $250, maybe even $300 card. It is in the 151 UPC collection. Currently, that sealed UPC is going for like $800 to $1,000. So I think that 151 set, even though there's some big premiums already there, I think long term, if you master set a 151, I've master setted the 151 Japanese, not without the master balls and things, but if you master set a 151, you hold it for 5-10 years, I think you're going to be absolutely laughing. This promo, Lance's Charizard 25th anniversary, it's obviously recently popped, currently going for $27. Look, I don't love the card, but I think with 30th anniversary coming around the corner next year, I think 25th anniversary is going to continue to pop. You've probably, you know, I think there's still room to grow. Like, obviously the Sylveon is another promo that's started to pop. I still think there's room in some of those promos. Probably you've missed the bottom, but I think again over years with 30th anniversary, we saw the same thing with 20th generation. It's going to continue to pop. this Clefairy, I picked mine up at the card show for $200. I love this card, and I think it is completely underrated. I think Journey Together as a set was overlooked. I think this is a $400 card, maybe even more over time. Like, it's so iconic. The Lily is obviously, you know, huge in terms of the waifu scene in Japan. The OG Lily goes for thousands of dollars in Japanese. Even English, which I was lucky enough to pick up, goes for like $800 consistently. I think that's an underrated card, even at $262. Magikarp in Japanese, currently going for $160. I think this, again, Magikarp in English is going to continue to price itself out for the everyday collector. And I think there's a really natural thing where people go from English to Japanese because they're more affordable. I picked up one of these in Japan for $40. I should have bought 10. Seems to be a common theme of boom or bust here in the episode, is I should have bought 10, which we've started to do, me and a few mates. Let's pick up one more that I think is going to be huge. Let me grab it for you here. Now, keep in mind, I am invested in this, so it might be a little biased, but I think it is underrated. Is this 151 ETB promo Snorlax? Current ETBs for 151 are nuts. It's like, last time I checked, it was like well over $600, maybe $650, which is crazy money for an ETB. This is the promo that was in the ETB. Currently going for 28. Me and a few mates, we bought up like 30 or something. We've got like 9 or 12 each or something like that we're going to hold. It's obviously pumped up a little bit here, and it's going well. It's peaked at 30 and then dropped back down. But I think with the pricing of 151 ETBs and this being such a cool looking card, I think and I've already seen people starting to advertise these sealed for 50. I think long term that's going to sit in the $70 to $80 range. So I think that's good buying. I even think the Pokemon Center version of it is ridiculously good buying as well. So there are a few ideas of a couple of key cards that I think are still worth heavily investing in, or even just cards to get yourself started. Good rule of thumb is, if you like ripping packs, normally limit yourself to only really ripping 2 booster boxes, maybe 3 max, before you just start buying singles, because eventually, if you master setting, it's just not worth continually ripping packs. But the smartest investors, and my brother-in-law is great at this, is they arbitrage holding sealed product and then trading that or flipping it to buy into singles. They consistently do the best financially. So buy singles if you want to be really sharp financially. Buy and hold some sealed stock. Don't be a gross scalper, but like, buy a booster box to rip, buy a booster box to keep sealed, and then flip that sealed product at card shows or locally for individual sealed cards, or not in singles that you really think are awesome, and cards that you love, and things that you think are really valuable. So, one more card before we go. I think this Ceruledge is undervalued. I think it's a really cool looking card. It doesn't even kind of look Pokemon. I think the colors of it are awesome, and it's currently sitting at $30 in Surging Sparks. I think that's undervalued. Could be wrong about this, but I think that's an $80 card long term. Easy. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I'm going to be doing these kind of episodes in between, going into collector. Also going to be diving into some famous people like Steve Aoki. I'm going to do an episode on his collection because it's on collector and you can check it out. It's insane. Looking at what are the grails of the grails of the grails, and what are these like heavy hitters investing in, which will be a lot of fun to break down his account. And then I'm going to do some occasional episodes of just like top 5 undervalued cards, top 5 things I'd be investing in for under $50, or also some bust cards, like things that I think have got way too much hype and loser's strategy. So hope that helps. Hope you've enjoyed checking out this episode. If you are into Pokemon card collecting, you want to see me rip a whole bunch of packs, you're into the investing side of things, hit subscribe. Everything helps in terms of the bigger vision, and if you want to see what my bigger vision is behind this channel and cards for a cause, go check out episode 1 of RipIt Steve. It's all in the description. So thanks very much for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.